Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me in this third part of our Introduction to Pilates series. Today we're talking about breath, about the Pilates breathing technique and a little bit about pelvic floor activation. My name is Gudrun Kohler. I'm a Pilates and yoga teacher and happy to have you here with me. Pilates breathing technique. For Pilates, breathing and breath was an integral part of his whole training system. He put a strong focus on how important it is to inhale deeply, to completely fill the lungs, and to exhale forcefully through the mouth and empty the lungs completely. He called this the internal shower, and he was convinced that most of the illnesses at his time were caused by insufficient, incomplete breathing only in the upper part of our breast cage. So what he recommends is that we breathe primarily in the lower part of the breast cage when we're doing our Pilates training. The reason is simple. As nice and calming and healthy belly breathing is, it wouldn't make it possible to maintain the muscular strength which we need, so this belly in and up, transversus abdominis, active during the exercises. This can't be done when you permanently have to bring the belly out and let it gently sink in and let it expand then. On the other hand, breathing here into the upper breast cage doesn't make too much sense too, as we anyway do it most of the time, as it's definitely a shallower kind of breathing than leaving the air further down, and as it usually tends to overactivate the sympathetic nervous system and makes it a little bit hectic, which we definitely do not want to have during our exercises. So this is for sure a nice compromise to primarily try and send the breath here. Try it out maybe, put your hands on your lower ribs and maybe even press in a little bit. And as you inhale into this area, into your hands, feel your ribcage gently widen to the sides. And as you exhale, feel how the ribcage closes again, how these bows of the ribs come a little bit closer together. On the inhale, feel the width, feel the length in your spine. And on the exhale, feel how your belly gently sinks in and the ribcage narrows again. So the inhale is usually the part that's pretty easy to practice and to do. On the exhale, we want to activate the pelvic floor muscles and draw the navel in and up. So this let the belly sink and have the idea of pulling the navel in usually works quite nicely. Let's try this part first. Again, we inhale into the lower ribs. You feel the width here. And on the exhale, let the belly sink. Draw the navel in and up. And again, width on the inhale, lengthen your spine also. And on the exhale, narrow your ribcage again and let the navel pull in. You might also imagine that a kind of corset is pulled around your waist, starting here, around your waist, and is really zipped and pulled firmly at your spine. So we activate the transversus abdominis, the transverse abdominal muscle, which makes it possible that our waist gets long, that our belly sinks in, that we rise from this area here. What is often a little bit more tricky for many people is how do I activate my pelvic floor muscles? Little bit of cues you already received yesterday, if you remember how the muscles are running on the pelvic floor. One option would be that on the exhale, you try and narrow your sit bones just a tiny little bit, bringing them closer together like they wanted to come closer, and then suck them up. Or you could try the same with your tailbone and with your pubic bone. Try and bring them a little bit closer together and draw the whole structure in and up. The third option would be that you imagine that you screw and pull up your vagina, your anus, your testicles. This whole structure wants to go in and up, and this screwing idea usually helps to activate it better. If it's difficult for you to do this in a seated position or in an upright standing position, come down on the ground. Find a mat, find some carpet or whatever. Go down on the ground and find a neutral position for your pelvis. What is also helpful is to activate the adductors. And the easiest way to do this is if you find something to press between your thighs. This might be a ball like I have it here. This might be a pillow, this might be a book, whatever. So find something to place between your thighs. Find a neutral position for your pelvis with a little bit of air under your lumbar spine. And then try and press this ball on the exhale from your hips, not from the knees. If the knees narrow, the hips go apart. And we want the hips to narrow rather than go apart. Because by this, it's easier for us to narrow the sit bones too, which activates the pelvic floor muscles. And if we press the ball and activate the adductors, these muscles in here in the thighs, they also lead into the pelvic floor muscles and have a strong connection here. So if these are activated, it's easier to activate the pelvic floor muscles too. So find a neutral position, inhale into your lower ribs and feel the rib cage widen. And on the exhale, gently press the ball from your hips. Try to narrow your sit bones, activate the adductors, and suck this whole structure in and up. And let go again on the inhale. And on the next exhale, again, gently press your ball and suck your pelvic floor muscles in and up. Feel how your belly moves down, gets flatter, waist gets longer. Inhale, get the width in the rib cage, the length in your spine, and on the exhale, gently press your ball and draw, pull, suck your whole structure in and up. You could also imagine that on the exhale, your whole body structure, from the front, from the back, from the sides, it all narrows, a central axis leading through your body. Try it several times and take care that your pelvis stays in the same position. What often happens is that when I activate or try to activate my pelvic floor muscles, that I roll into a kind of pelvic tilt where my lumbar back presses into the ground. So try and keep this little bit of air under your lumbar area and keep the pelvis in its original place. Well, so much about at least the theory and some exercises on the Pilates breathing technique and on pelvic floor activation. Basically, you will find out that especially in the beginning, when you learn a new training method, you have so many things to think about that you might go into despair because it's simply not possible to do it all at a time. So especially for the first classes, for the first weeks maybe even, be nice to yourself as long as you let your breath flow. As long as you don't stop breathing, everything is fine. I will remind you often enough about this breathing technique. I will remind you to suck your belly in and up to activate your pelvic floor muscles, and in the course of the time it will be absolutely natural to you. Just one recommendation, in case you have found out now that it's really difficult for you to activate your pelvic floor muscles, try this several times a day. You can do this in a seated position, nobody will notice, but it really helps you to go through everyday life, and especially it helps you with the exercises here. Hope you found this helpful. I wish you a nice day, and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow when we're talking about placement, about the ideal position, how you can get into your exercises.